If you want to be successful with AI, I think the first question is to think about a solid, but especially a trusted data foundation. I'm here with Sharad Kumar. You're the field CTO at Qlik. We're here at Qlik Connect, an amazing event again, in Orlando again. But maybe you can explain, for us it's a very clear, but maybe you can explain why is it so critical if you start with AI to have this trusted data foundation?
Yeah. So Ronald, you were in the morning session and you hear all the time that most people are engaging in AI. About 90% of the companies you survey are working on some kind of AI initiatives. But the numbers show is less than 25% are succeeding with it, right? And if you peel that and say, okay, what are the reasons? Well, the biggest reason stands out to be bad data, right? So garbage in, garbage out. Some of the other reasons tend to be they may have bad models. They're trying to take Gen AI and apply it to every AI problem, but not every problem can be solved with just an LLM. And I think the last reason is a lot of time they're treating these AI projects as science projects rather than business projects. So often they're not really tied to outcome. So you keep working on this long drawn project without an outcome in mind. So I think two biggest reasons, I think data is the biggest obstacle to realizing the full value from AI. And then a lot of time they're also not tied to business outcomes. So having and planning and having a great foundation of data is absolutely critical to the success of AI.
And then you were talking already about this gap.
Yeah.
There's a low percentage that really execute well. There's a high percentage that have it in their strategy, so everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows it, how to do it. So can you give some advice and tips what C-level executives should do? How can they close this gap?
Yeah. So first, I think you brought the good term gap. There's a big gap between what the C-level is expecting. So what they want is they want to move fast, right? They want results from AI. They want value from it. They want to see progress. And they don't want to fall behind their competitor from an AI perspective. So they're demanding a lot. There's a lot more urgency from a C-level perspective. But the ground reality is very different. When it comes down to data and AI leaders, the data is messy, it's siloed, it's incomplete, it's not good quality. So you really cannot move as fast as the C-suite wants to move. So what happens is a lot of time you're doing experimentation with AI in small pockets in your lab, and you can never scale it and you can never productionalize it because your foundation is not correct because of all these reasons.
And don't get the value out of it.
You don't get the value out of it, right? So you get stuck on these, it becomes like a science project and you start to look at data. And like I was saying, you have incomplete data, it's sitting somewhere, you got to bring it together, it's a lot of risk around AI. So one of the biggest thing for most companies is they don't want to take on the risk with AI. And multiple things, sometimes you have sensitive data or you have proprietary data. So they're worried that once they build their AI, it doesn't get leaked. So you have to have proper guardrails around your data. You got to work on clean data. If you don't have clean data, you're going to get bad answers.
Yeah.
You have to have complete data, otherwise you're going to have bias in your answers. So all those things at the ground level are stopping people from really moving at the speed the C-suite wants them to move.
Yeah. And now if you have, let's say, bad data in, it's not garbage in, garbage out, it's exponential garbage out because the algorithms run on every piece of data every time, 1,000 times a day.
Yeah. And actually, you bring up a good point. The problem actually gets amplified when you start to look towards agentic. Because what's happening in agentic? You're taking the human out of the loop.
Yeah.
So what do agentic systems do? They react and act on data. So you get bad data to an agentic system, is going to make bad decisions, is going to drive bad outcomes, it will have wrong consequences, it may miss anomalies in the data, you're going to get bad results. And then what happens is these agentic systems, they learn, right? That's one of the biggest things they learn. And that. So once they take bad data, they give bad outcomes and they reinforce that, and that becomes that vicious loop. So you get worse and worse. So you amplify the problem in the agentic world because you don't have human in the loop now looking at data.
Yeah. And then one other item, if you have a good data foundation, what are the opportunities, for example, with new data products?
Well, so if you look at what data products do is they bridge this gap between data producers and data consumers. So in most organizations, if you look at data producers are more interested, or their task at hand is trying to extract the data from different source systems, join the data, they want to put it into a more performant place, secure place, but they really don't understand the business use cases, and there's not too much business involvement in data production. Whereas on the data consumer side, if I have an AI use case, I want to understand what data is available. Can I trust it? Right? Is it in a form that I can consume and use in my AI application? And that's generally not true, although that creates a gap. So that's where data products come in. Because data products are packaged data, trusted data. It has context, they're easy to consume. So they're perfect to build AI applications.
And connecting the bridge between the data producers and the data consumers, which is critical for your success.
And mainly what some of the benefits are, they make data easier to find, they make it data easier to consume, they make it data easier to govern. There's a lot more reusability around data. And what that ultimately leads to is faster time to outcomes and lower costs.
And in the end, we want results. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Sharad, thanks a lot.
yeah.
Thank you.
Good talk.
Thank you. And I'm really curious from what we're going to see here at Qlik Connect in Orlando. Some great presentations and keynotes tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.